Hey, warriors, good to see everybody. Today is October 28th, and we are here with Lisa Hansen. Lisa, she's a single mom of an 8-year-old. She started her journey about 4.5 years ago and has lost almost 100 pounds with Shakeology and several different workout programs. She's currently ranked at a 4-star diamond, but has 6 personally sponsored diamonds and star diamonds underneath her. And she is in the top 1% of the company and the highest paid coaches for her rank. Lisa and I have known each other for several years. I've known her since before her transformation, and it's just so awesome to be in this process with her. So Lisa, I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me and asking me to be on the call. So Joanna has asked me to speak about, is that a puppy?
I just muted, so I'm muting myself off.
Mine's sleeping. Sorry about that. Joanna asked me to talk about Shakeology. Just a little bit of background. I have been a holistic health practitioner for 16 years. And I specialize in the digestive system and putting people on cleanses. And so I started that in 98, I believe 98. And actually that's how I met Joanna. She was a client of the center, and we had different modalities. And when Bob Lucido, who's my sponsor, first introduced me to Shakeology, and he didn't know much about it. And I thought it was a protein shake, and it was in a little packet, and I stuck it in a drawer. And I share that because it's really important about when you give a sample to someone that you actually make sure that they know what they're getting and that they don't think it's just another gimmick or it's another protein shake. So because he was in one of the first infomercials for P90X, I just thought it was a big muscle man drink, and I certainly wasn't going to do P90X. So it's stuck in the drawer, and it's a long story short, but I eventually started to try it. And one day I took it out of the drawer and I started to look at the list of ingredients. And as a practitioner, I knew every ingredient that was in there, and I was really impressed. And I had been making green smoothies at home for years, and I was spending a small fortune on different proteins and lecithin and chlorella and spirulina and just making my own concoction. So when I saw the Shakeology, I was like, wow, here is everything in one packet. Now, up until that point, too, my own concoctions either tasted like dirt or grass. And I didn't care because it was healthy for me, and I would just suck it down. So I went home and I tried the Shakeology, and I couldn't believe, I felt like I had just had a milkshake. And so I started to look at the list of ingredients and research where everything came from. And we brought it into the healing center. Marianne Volpe, who's on our team, was a practitioner at the shop, and she's an acupuncturist and a Chinese herbalist. And I got her on board. She was one of the first coaches that I signed up. And we brought it into the center and started to really look at what it would do for our clients. So we had a pretty big practice, and started to share with people that this was the real deal. So when you're sharing Shakeology, you want to make sure that you're using buzzwords, like superfoods is a buzzword. Chia is a buzzword right now, which is a superfood. You want to be pointing out to people of what they're getting. They're getting all the dense nutrients that the body needs, so there's no deficiencies. And that's really important to share with people, that it's all the nutrients and all the minerals that your body needs, so you do not have any deficiencies. And when you don't have any deficiencies, you have more energy, less cravings. Because if you take some time to Google cravings, like I believe chocolate is a magnesium deficiency. Certain food cravings that you have that are junky are usually a mineral or a vitamin deficiency. So that's how the Shakeology works to reduce your cravings. More energy level, better digestion. It just has everything that the body needs for optimal health. So it's not a weight loss shake, but how the body works is when we are fueled properly, all the things that we are doing for our health start to work better. It's kind of like Instead of just when you're running low on oil and you pour oil in your car on top of the old oil, your car won't work as good as if you went and got a full-blown oil change, got out all the gunk and added in the good stuff. Then you can really tell the difference of how that car is operating. The same with our bodies. What Shakeology does is it has a blend of Chinese herbs that raise the qi of all the organs and gently pushes out toxins every single day. So sometimes, well, most of the time, people have some detox symptoms in the beginning, and it depends on what their diet is. So the worse the diet has been, the stronger the reactions will be. People may have low energy at first, or a headache, or diarrhea, or constipation, stomach upset, skin breakouts. And as coaches, of course, you can go into any of the team pages and ask for help. But it's good for you to know, just say, okay, well, your body is experiencing mild detox symptoms. It typically goes away in 3 to 5 days. If it's not tolerable, you can cut the dose in half and kind of work your way up to the higher dose. So because it's pushing out those daily toxins, we have more energy and we start to feel better because it's just like that oil change. We've gotten rid of the gunk by pushing out the daily toxins, and now we start to feel better. People actually start to feel better on it the longer they are on it, typically. So I do try to have people commit to about 3 months if I can. And the words that I use are, I'm going to support you in any way that you want to do this. But I will tell you that all the studies are based on 3 months of use, and it really does take at minimum 3 months for you to experience all the health benefits. Are you willing to commit to the 3 months? Of course, if something goes wrong and you can't continue, I'll help you cancel. But I like to try to put that in their head first, that, try to give this 3 months. So when you're sharing Shakeology, you want to be using those superfoods. This is a meal replacement shake that has all of our dense nutrients that our body needs, so we're no longer deficient. And as a result, studies have shown, you guys can look up the studies, but more energy, less cravings, weight loss, better health, relief from IBS, whatever words you want to use. Because it has all the superfoods and all the nutrients that we need. So I just want to make sure it's not just another protein shake, and it's not a weight loss shake. It's all the nutrition that your body needs. And a nice healthy side effect of proper nutrition is weight loss. So that's kind of how you can present it that way. As far as, Joanna, you asked me to talk about sharing it. Hopefully you're all forming so that by the time you get to the topic of Shakeology, you know enough about that person, about why you would even recommend it to them, So let's say, your friend Sally has suffered from acne breakouts for a long time. Hey, Sally, I was thinking about you. I've been drinking this shake called Shakeology that has all the nutrients and minerals that your body needs. A lot of people on our team, skin has cleared up. And I know the last time we were speaking, you mentioned that you were struggling with that. Would you like to give it a try? Or, hey, Mom, do you want to do something about your IBS? And I found something that, you really have to rely on the studies that have been done, the videos that go along with that to back it up when you're approaching someone for a health benefit. So by bringing it into the Healing Center, we started to see clients go off their cholesterol medicine. My personal story is I reversed pre-diabetes and went off 2 high blood pressure medicines from the Shakeology. And that was just Shakeology. I didn't even work out. I was 230 pounds and I couldn't really even work out. And I lost my first 40 pounds by just replacing lunch every day with Shakeology and an apple. And so that just shows you that, yes, exercise helps, but Shakeology alone can really help people reverse diabetes, work towards reversing diabetes, reverse pre-diabetes, go off their cholesterol or blood pressure medicine. We had people get rid of their GERD, their IBS. So you really want to make sure that you're presenting it as a health, like a super healthy health shake. I have to look at my notes, Joanna. You wanted me to touch upon a couple other things.
Yeah, if you could possibly touch quickly upon objections, especially when it comes to the price of Shakeology, that would be awesome. And I'd love if you could share a little bit about where we source our ingredients. I think that's a really cool story about, where we source our ingredients versus having them be mainly American ingredients.
Right, absolutely. And that alone brings up some controversy for some people. We source first of all, it's not stamped USDA organic. It doesn't have a lot of US stamps because it would skyrocket the price. And so Beachbody wanted to keep it affordable. It's already, a good, decent amount of money. So they didn't want it to raise. If you go to Whole Foods and were to price out all the ingredients, I believe someone had done that and it came to $300 or $400 a month to be able to make your own at home. So they source their ingredients in different indigenous countries. So where there's no pesticides, there's no environmental toxins, it's a very clean, rainforest dense type of environment. And what I love about it is they haven't done it in the last 2 years, but especially in the first 2 years that I was a coach, Darren O'Lean, my hunky man, I just love him. He's a superfood guru, and that's his job. He travels the whole world. If you follow him on Facebook, you'll see he's traveling all the time to find out the most rich, dense soils to grow the plants and the medicinal herbs that are in Shakeology. And he goes around and visits all the places before they decide that they're going to harvest and hire out where they're going to get their supplies. So in your online office, or you can just do it on YouTube, there's a great video called The Ingredient Hunter, and that's Darren O'Lean, and he shares what he's doing by going to different parts of the country. The Ingredient Hunter is the name of it. So back to the first 2 years, what they did is they're always on top of things, and they found out that one of the ingredients, I think it was maca root, that they were sourcing from was contaminated by some toxic pesticides. So they reformulated the whole entire Shakeology to take that out and to source it from somewhere else. And that happened twice in my first 2 years, and it hasn't happened since. But if it were to happen, they're right on top of it, and they reformulate the whole thing to make sure that it's pure. And organic means that no toxins and no pesticides are used on the plant. So you have a nice shiny apple and it looks incredibly perfect. They sprayed that tree with a pesticide to keep the bugs off, to make your apple look really super pretty. Whereas you go and get the organic ones, they're not as pretty, but they're organically grown, which means that they don't have any pesticides on them. So even though it's not stamped organic, they're sourcing their ingredients from places that don't use pesticides. But US itself has very strict guidelines, and it's the government, and they're going to tax you and get as much money as they can for that stamp. So you can Google all that kind of stuff, because I don't know, I've been talking to some of the people, I've been doing some research, and even labels that are being used aren't really even 100% accurate. So it's just kind of interesting. Objections start here. They start in your own mind. They start in your mindset. So you need to get really clear with how awesome Shakeology is, how there's nothing else on the market like it, and 100% belief that it's worth every single penny. And I hardly ever get objections because I'm so super clear that there's nothing else like Shakeology. And so I don't attract that to me. So the law of attraction, what we think and what we believe is what we attract into our life. So I could go on about that, but I won't. So basically, if you have doubts about it, like if you're, oh, but it's so expensive, my aunt Sally really wants it, but she's not going to be able to afford it, you're probably going to have a struggle getting her to be on it, and she's probably going to balk at the price because you've already kind of been running that thought pattern and that program in your own head. So fake it till you make it. If you don't 100% believe all that, just do some writing out. And I can't show you my desk because I'm facing the other way, but I have Post-its all over the place of, affirmations. I earn Success Club this month. I have a successful challenge group this month. I attract healthy, positive, uplifting people to my team. In the beginning, I didn't have to do this because I just believed in Shakeology so much. But for my coaches that signed under me, I would have them write little Post-its and have it in their day timer, in their mirror, near their computer. Shakeology is worth every single penny and will change your life. And so get that right in your head, like kind of run a little infomercial in your head about Shakeology. Shakeology is awesome. Like make up a little song right before you talk to someone to kind of lessen your objection ratio. If you do have objections, the best thing that you can do is just totally relate to them. So what I do is, I totally understand. In fact, I was completely broke and living at home with a 2-year-old when I first heard about Shakeology. But my sponsor, my friend, I use the word friend. I try not to use the word sponsor or coach when I'm talking to people. So I use my friend. My friend that told me about it, he helped me to look at my budget, and I realized that I was so tired, especially as an overweight single mom, that I was running to Starbucks every afternoon and dropping $5 or $6. And what he showed me was Shakeology is only $4 a day. So I stopped going to Starbucks. And I would love to help you. I'd love to help you figure out, because I really believe that you're going to feel so much better on this. And plus, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't fall in love with it and you don't experience what I experienced with it within your first month, I'll help you return, do the return and get your money back. But let's look at your budget. Let's see, what are you doing for lunch right now? How many times a week? And that's another thing. I was like a crazy lady, and I wasn't really like being prepared with cooking and food. So my little escape with the little one was to run out and go to Target and do errands, and then I'd end up at Panera. Next thing you know, I was dropping $12 for a salad and a drink and mac and cheese for her. So I stopped doing that to afford Shakeology in my first month. The other approach that you can use is the refer 3, get yours for free. So you can say, you do have the option to sign up as a discount coach. Don't worry about coaching. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I have so many people on my team who sign up just for the 25% discount. It's going to save you on average $17 a month. But what that's going to do is, if you fall in love with it like I did, and you refer 3 people over to me, I'll put them under you, and the commissions that you earn from those 3 people will be enough to cover your own Shakeology each month. So I use that a lot, and then I just say, "What are you, stupid?" No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I'm just like, I just kind of think of it, and I say, you know what? Stories. Always use your story. That's why we have you do it in the Coach Basics. You have to tell your story. And you have to say, all I know is, that's like a huge thing. If you read like psychological business books, there's a few catchphrases that our tribal minds are programmed. Most people is one of them. And all I know is another one. And let's say you've kind of been going back with someone with some of those tips I just shared, and someone's just like, I don't know, I have to think about it. It's better if you're on the phone then, but I'll say, okay, all I know is that I reversed my pre-diabetes, went off my 2 blood pressure medicines, and dropped 100 pounds since I added Shakeology. I mean, that's, all I know is I have several people on my team whose skin have cleared up. That way you're not coming across as salesy. You're sharing stories with other people. One of the reasons we have the team pages and the Coach Basics, where we have you do your story, is so you can collect little tidbits from the people on your team and use them and say, hey, I know somebody who has celiac and she can drink Shakeology. I know somebody who's lost 100 pounds from Shakeology. You want to be collecting those stories. It's like we always have this toolbox, and we don't know what tool we're going to use when we talk to somebody, but at least they're in the box so that, oh yeah, she's talking about not having enough energy and she's not making it through the day. I'm going to tell her about such and such a person on the team who has had a tremendous amount of increase of energy since they started drinking Shakeology. So, and of course, you're collecting testimonials from your challenge group participants too. So in your challenge groups, you always want to be asking for testimonials, first of all. And second of all, you always want to be asking at least one post throughout your program is, please share what you've noticed since you've been drinking Shakeology. It's been 2 weeks now. What have you been noticing? And that helps the people in the group see it, but it also helps you to collect those tools and to have those stories, because it's different than a Beachbody study. It's someone you know, and people take that so much to heart. Do you have any questions, Joanna?
I love that. Thank you. I love the fact that, it's really that feeling and that connection with other people about, these are people that these are people that you care about, and these are, real people, real stories, and that there's something for everybody in regards to sharing about how Shakeology can just be so impactful and so important. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Does anybody have any questions? You're more than welcome to unmute yourself. And anybody?
I actually do.
Hi, Emily.
I'm like, sorry, my iPad is not behaving. So this was actually brought to my attention today by another coach, but also just kind of curious. As far as like when someone wants to try Shakeology, I personally I've only had this with one person. It was my sister-in-law, who's negative to everything. So it didn't faze me. So if you have someone that wants to try, do you charge them $5 to try it? And what do you feel like the success is with having people try it before they order it?
That's a good question. I personally have never charged unless they want more than one or two. If they want a week's worth or they want enough to do like a 10-day challenge or something, then I charge. I charge $5 a packet. However, many people on the team do charge, so it's a personal choice. For me, I had taken out a $15,000 loan when I started up my practice. So to start something up for $40 and then my own Shakeology, which I didn't even view that as a business expense, like even though it was like an investment in myself. So the $15.95 a month, I thought, why not invest in buying some extra boxes of Shakeology? So my first month that I signed as a coach, I bought 3 boxes. And I don't give them out as much now, just because my brand is so solid, but totally did in the beginning, especially the first year, all the time I gave them out. I'm going to say, I have not tracked it, but I'm going to say 50-50 success rate. You have to be very specific about how they mix it. So many times people are like, oh, I hated it. It was disgusting. And they did a shaker cup. So now I do a whole letter. I send them a recipe calendar. I make them promise that they're going to use a blender. Please promise me that you're going to use a blender. So it's really, I would suggest, I don't know what you've tried, but I would suggest trying it out for 3 to 6 months and to see if it's worth the investment, if it's paying off. And you may even want to track it. And if it's an investment that pays off, that's great. From Shakeology samples, I have gotten coaches like Joanna and Jayashree and Marianne, I went to her house. She'll tell this story. I showed up at her house with a blender, almond milk, and my shake, and I mixed it up in front of her and made her drink it. And she didn't want anything to do with it, but 2 hours later, she had a burst of energy, and she called me up and signed up. So as far as, I don't know, yeah, definitely success. I'm kind of backtracking because I definitely have had even coaches come out of that where they got a sample. Now, I do have a sample letter and the team spirit, and what I make sure I tell people is I share a sample so you can experience the taste. However, to experience the health benefits, you really have to be on it 7 to 14 days. You know, it's very rare for someone to feel a difference right away. Does that answer your question? I know it's not super clear. I don't think.
I mean, I personally have never experienced this. Thankfully, I haven't. The only person I ever gave a sample to was my sister, and I have made one for a couple of friends. And I travel with my blender, and I bring everything with me. I bring from extracts, I have it all. But just 2 coaches actually brought that to my attention. They were having trouble once they gave a sample that these people were like, oh, girl, you know, like, and I, same thing, if you're not explaining how to make it, I mean, you can easily, my sister-in-law put like 1 cup of water in it. She's like, I'm just like mud. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it was, you know, like we told her how to do it, you know, unfortunately she just, whatever. But I just was wondering for other people, because it seems to come to my attention a lot and I don't really have an answer.
I had one girl who mixed it with a bag of frozen strawberries, and that's it. And I was like, so it was waste? Like, I was just floored with it.
And how's your stomach?
Like, no wonder why you didn't like it. I wouldn't like it that way.
Right. No.
I mean, geez. I mean, some people like it mixed in yogurt, and I can't even stand it that way. I like it just a nice, big, frothy shake. But it does say 8 ounces on the package. And I personally don't like it with just a cup of water or almond milk. So I make sure it's going to say, I say to people, it says 8 ounces on the package, but I like a good 14 to 16. Start with 8 and then add more liquid until it's the way you like it. So I would just say they have to just experiment and see if it pans out for them. You know, encourage them to make what you're already doing. Encourage them to make sure that they are sending at least some type of letter, whether it's handwritten or not, on how to make it.
Okay.
You can print out the recipe calendars right from the website. Right. Corinne, I see you.
Oh, she's frozen.
Oh, she's
and not a best pose. You were just frozen.
Hilarious.
And a huge yawn. That was awesome and so cute. Someone was asking a question, I think, Joanna. Unless it's a figment.
I thought it was too.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Anybody?
You know what, Emily? I just thought of this. Now, and I was trying to figure out why I no longer give out samples. I mean, sometimes I do, but very rarely. It's because I encourage the 30-day money-back guarantee. And I say, oh, well, Beachbody offers a 30-day money-back guarantee because you're going to want to try it for a good 2 weeks to experience the increase in energy, the less cravings, the, you know, better bowel movements, and I list a few things. And most of the time people get it and they go, oh, okay, you know, I'll give it a try, you know. And then I always say, listen, if you don't like it, I'll help you through the process of returning it. And sometimes people just like to know that they're not going to be like just forgotten about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's actually how I approach it. Because if someone handed me a sample, I probably wouldn't be here today because I would have made it wrong, and I would need 10 of them, and I would want to, you know, mix, you know, just who I am. So I kind of do it the way I am, which sometimes doesn't always work for me. Sometimes it does, but I'm learning. But I think that's awesome. I think that's just something that comes up a lot in people, you know, about what we do, you know, 50-50. I'd say probably, you know, of how many people when you give them a sample, you know, either A, don't make it right and walk away, or, you know, what it is, what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you just, you know, if after I've done all that, the 30-day money back guarantee, give it a couple of weeks. So, you know, talk about flavors, and they're just like, you know, I've tried many other things. I just want to taste it first. Then I send them a sample. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like, for me, it's a last resort approach.
I personally don't. In the beginning, obviously, I couldn't afford it. I mean, I'm not working really right now. My husband's kind of supporting us, and you know, Beachbody's helping. But so for me, I haven't really been able to, and we both drink it. So it's every single day. So it's for us personally, but now I have a little bit extra now, but I don't ever use it. So I don't know, so I just was thinking of ordering more. And that's kind of where in the beginning, I was like, maybe I should have it on hand, and maybe if I don't, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like I said, I really don't do samples anymore. So, and then obviously you already said this, but if it's anyone local, you want to make it for them.
Right.
I even had clients at the healing center that I would be talking to them about it. And if I knew they were coming in for their appointment, I would have one made up for them to try. Or if you're going to some type of family event, maybe you've been talking to your Aunt Sally about it. Sally, why is that? I don't even know a Sally. Like, that's the third time I've used Sally. All right. So your Aunt Ro is, I just met a girl today named Ro, and I thought it was cool. You've been chatting with her about it, and she's always hemming and hawing about losing weight, but she's like so stubborn she won't try it. Bring her a nice peanut butter banana one, with almond milk, and make it nice and frothy. She's going to think it's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So Joanne, I'm being all chatty now.
No, it's all good. And it reminds me of when, I signed up with you, and this was before challenge packs. I mean, I was a discount buyer for 2 years before I started working the business. And, you said to me, if you don't like it, I'll give you back the $40 that it costs for you to sign up as a coach. And I was like, okay, that's cool. The really nice part about that is it established a level of trust. Like, it established me having a level of trust with you in the sense of like, you believe so much in this product, but you also believe in me, and you believe in our relationship, and like acting with integrity and authenticity. And it made me feel like I was going to be okay if I didn't like it. Like, there was always like, there's no pressure and no anything along those lines. It's like, you got my back in regards to that. So I loved that, forming that level of trust, and like, to your point, like making samples for people or walking them through that process, or, saying to them, I'll help you create a recipe that feels good to you, or I'll help you walk through this process. It really forms that level of trust, which helps, with our coaching relationships with our customers and our coaches.
Absolutely. And if I was to sum up the success that I've had in a couple of words, it would be, I take a lot of time to get to know people. I never just sell someone a challenge pack. I'm forming them for a while. I'm chatting back and forth and asking them all sorts of questions. I'm going on their timeline. I'm seeing if they have kids, if they have dogs, what they do. I ask them questions about their personal life. And then I follow up with them. And they're in my challenge groups. And at least once a week, I'm privating messaging each person to see how they're doing at home. So it is relationship building that I think I have people that have been with me a long time. And so it's really awesome feedback for you to say that, because I believed in you, and I believed in the product, and I love you.
I love you. Does anybody else have any other questions? We have 3.5 minutes. Okay, Lisa, thank you so much. That was really great. And I'm super grateful for your time, especially I know you're in the process of moving, unpacking, all that kind of jazz. So thank you for taking this time out to chat with us.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Everybody have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks.